All right, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like the San Francisco 49ers have a ton of interest in Oregon players as they have what appears to be 8 scouts in attendance, including John Lynch, which Steph Sanchez, who does a great job of kind of tracking a lot of this movement, she's basically saying this is unprecedented. She's never seen this many 49ers scouting department members at a singular pro day. And when you actually look at the players that are available, you're kind of like, all right, this actually might make sense to why they are there. And the 49ers could be targeting multiple players, so let's actually dive into who some of those players can be that John Lynch and the rest of the scouting department could have their eyes on at the Oregon Pro Day. So let's take a look. Starting with, I think, the one that makes the most sense for the 49ers is defensive tackle Derek Harmon. He's 6'4, 313 pounds. Harmon has shown significant promise as a defensive lineman. He is currently ranked 30th among draft prospects with a projected selection in the first to second rounds. Now, Derek Harmon has been discussed at 11 for the San Francisco 49ers. I would actually say that's probably his ceiling in the first round, is going that high. So it kind of makes sense that a lot of 49ers scouting people are on hand to watch this, to be able to meet him, to be able to see it in up close and personal with their own eyes. And let's say that Derek Harmon maybe isn't the pick at 11. He could absolutely be a trade back candidate. Say they drop back a couple spots, they could totally take him and recoup more picks and still get a stud interior defensive lineman. Walter Nolan is a guy that I have spoken about a lot throughout this process, but I would say Derek Harmon's in that same tier as kind of defensive tackle. You have kind of your Mason Graham tier, and then it's kind of like Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon in that next tier. So he could totally be in the conversation at 11 or be a perfect trade back candidate. They also have a pretty solid offensive lineman, Josh Connerly Jr., who is an offensive tackle. He's 6'5, 311 pounds. One of the things that stands out with him the most is his athleticism and his potential. He could go anywhere from first round, probably late first round, to third round. To me, he seems squarely in the second round, maybe mid. I'm gonna say mid second round. Um, I think his athleticism is what's really going to prop him up. He is pretty decent, but I do think he's not like Membo, like where Membo's athleticism really stands out on film. Although he is athletic, I think that there's definitely a clear teardrop. He could be an option for the 49ers. We'll see. But I would assume the 49ers want to get eyes on him. Terrence Ferguson is an intriguing tight end prospect at 6'5, 243 pounds. He's been a reliable target in Oregon's offense and is considered one of the top prospects in this upcoming class. I do think that he does have a pretty solid skill set. Um, he definitely is, to me, at least my perception of him right now, is more of a receiving tight end than kind of inline blocker. But the 49ers have a blocker in Luke Farrell that they signed. So this could allow them to kind of go deviate from that and kind of add a receiving threat to go along with the blocking tight end that they have. So that could be an option. Jeffrey Bassa is a name that is talked about sometimes in connection to the 49ers, fans who would like to see Bassa potentially play because he is kind of a Dre Greenlaw archetype linebacker, 6'1", 232 pounds, very athletic. That's really his hallmark right now, is just his versatility and athleticism. He's been a standout player on the Oregon's defense, and he is projected to be a mid-round pick. To me, he seems like a third, fourth round guy. We'll see if his athleticism pushes him up. But he could be a target for the 49ers who need some linebacker help. Tez Johnson, wide receiver, he's kind of all over the map because he's 5'10", 154 pounds, very thin, very small. Obviously, you don't typically look at wide receivers that size to be, you know, prolific wide receivers in the NFL. And he's known for his, route running ability. He did put on a show at the Senior Bowl, but he tested um, with a really slow 40 time. I don't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, but it was something like 4 or 5 or something. It was actually like, whoa, he ran that. Like that's interesting. But he does seem to be a decent player. But the 49ers already have Jacob Cowing. I would be surprised if they went kind of back to back with a similar archetype type receiver. At least Cowing has legitimate speed. I believe Tez ran a 4.55, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have Jordan James, running back, 5'10", 205 pounds, explosive runner, and has playmaking abilities. He is considered to be more of a mid to late round selection. He could be an option as well. And actually, someone that I forgot to add into the mix of this slide is one of my favorite Oregon defensive players. It's Jordan Birch. Jordan Birch is an intriguing prospect. He was a former 5-star high school recruit. I believe he started out Ole Miss and then he transferred to Oregon. I actually came across Birch last year when I was scouting another Oregon defensive lineman. I think his name was Brandon Dorless. And uh, Birch is the one who stood out to me the most out of, watching this guy who's going to get drafted in the 49ers showed some interest in. I was like, yeah, this guy, Jordan Birch, looks better than him. So I forgot to add him to the carousel, but Jordan Birch is also another name I think to keep your eye on. I think he does have some health concerns that has impacted his availability. But the thing with Birch is he's a freak athlete, like just a freak of nature. He's got great size. He's around 6'5", bordering on 300 pounds, but he moves extremely, extremely well. So it'll be fascinating to see where his stock is when it's all said and done. But I wouldn't be, if you got him in the mid rounds, third, fourth, fifth round pick for him, I'd be happy with that. So again, a lot of 49ers executives and scouting reps are on hand for the Oregon Pro Day. So it'll be fascinating to see if the 49ers actually come away with an Oregon player. Do you want to see the 49ers come away with one? If so, let me know which one you want to see in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.